Every year, hundreds of thousands of sub-Saharan people decide to abandon their country to begin the uncertain journey undertaken by any immigrant. They dream about Europe, the promised land seen in movies and television. Many others decide to stay in order to deal with the present, without fleeing or more adventures, just those of their daily routine. But who are these men? What are their desires, fears, or impossible dreams? This is the story of two of these men, of two paths that cross under the same dream, the dream for a new future.
Je m'appelle André Kane.
My name is André Ekane. I'm 19 years old, and I was born in Cameroon. I work at the Rio Cinema in Yamena, although I'm really a soccer player. I play for the Postal 2000 team in Chad's First Division. I trained to be a soccer player in Yaoundé, Cameroon's capital. I came here a year ago to try my luck and was signed by the Postal team, which is one of the best teams in the country. My dream is to play soccer in Europe someday. I've sent several letters to the French teams in Bordeaux and Nantes for a tryout, but nobody has replied. Next Saturday, I will play my last game with the Postal team. I have decided to leave for Europe. I will cross the desert through Libya, and then we'll take a boat to Europe. I know that it will not be easy, but I can only think about playing soccer in Europe. I know how dangerous this can be, but I can only think about playing in Europe.
A country at war is an endless source of news for those who work in mass media. This is a hard and not very comforting job, especially if it is your country. My name is Adun, and I work as a reporter for Chad's TV station. For the last few years, I've covered almost all the confrontations between the rebels and government forces. I am also the official cameraman for the President of the Republic as well. Fortunately, the worst times of war have already passed. Chad is now a country under reconstruction. A peaceful development of our children's future depends on us, on all of us.
Chad heads all underdevelopment rankings at the world level. More than 30 years of war has wiped out this country. There are no infrastructures, just a conflicting population without resources. Until the French arrived, the area that is today occupied by Chad was controlled by northern Muslim tribes dedicated to trading slaves, who they abducted from the south. During colonial times, the French invested in cotton plantations and bet on their cultural support of the black people and the Southern Christians. Upon gaining independence in 1960, the Southern people took control of this rising country. But heavy disputes began quickly. The northern Muslim tribes, supported by Libya, confronted the central government, which initiated 25 years of constant war. A war whose leaders have often changed according to different interests and diverse strategies, but a war with an invariable factor: the confrontation between the Libyans and the French for the control of this territory. In 1980, Libya justified invading Chad as an excuse to support one of the adversaries. The French intervened and halted the advance. The country remained divided until 1987, when Gaddafi withdrew, leaving the desert covered with military scrap metal and unexploded bombs. At the beginning of the 21st century, confrontations still continued in remote areas of the north, while a slow recuperating process was taking place in the rest of the country. Although difficult to achieve, given that most of the population has emigrated abroad, and those who have stayed are still marked by the horror of the war.
I must cross the river every time a new film arrives. Films are rented in Cameroon, on the other side of the bridge. In Chad, there is no one else that can provide this service today. The man that owns the film is always waiting for me with the movies in hand. I just have to pick them up, cross the bridge again, pay the tax for crossing, and then return to Yemena. It was my father who got me interested in film. Since I was a child, I wanted to play soccer, but my father worked at the cinema in Yaoundé and took me with him to teach me how to do his job. He did not believe that I could make my living playing soccer. They did not pay you to play soccer, so I have to work at the cinema to make my living.